Dr. Kira Veltar pressed her six-fingered hand against the cold metal console and watched the readings with growing confusion. The scanner showed nothing but empty space ahead, yet something was definitely there. Her ship, the Nexus Prime, had been exploring the void sector for 3 months without finding anything interesting. This was supposed to be the most boring assignment in the galaxy. Dead space with no stars, no planets, and no life for thousands of light years in every direction. "Run the scan again," she told her assistant, a young researcher named Talk, who had joined their mission fresh from the academy. His enthusiasm reminded her of herself when she first started exploring unknown regions of space. "Same results, Doctor," Talk said, his voice carrying that mix of excitement and worry that came with discovering something that should not exist. "The energy readings are definitely there, but visual scans show nothing." Kira moved to the main viewing screen and stared at the patch of space where their instruments insisted something massive was hiding. She had spent 20 years studying alien life forms across the galaxy, but she had never encountered anything like this. Energy signatures did not just appear from nowhere, there had to be a source. "What kind of energy pattern are we looking at?" she asked. Talk adjusted his controls and brought up a detailed analysis. "It's unlike anything in our database. The readings suggest something huge, maybe the size of a battlecruiser, but the energy type is completely unknown. It seems to be shifting between different dimensional frequencies." Captain Zethmore, the ship's commanding officer, walked onto the bridge with his usual heavy footsteps. His species was known for being practical and direct, which made him an excellent captain, but sometimes difficult to work with when dealing with scientific mysteries. "Doctor, we have orders to complete our survey of this sector and return to base," he said. "We cannot spend time chasing ghost readings." "Captain, this is not a ghost reading," Kira replied firmly. "Something is out there, and it's big enough to power a small city. We need to investigate." The captain looked at the scanner displays and frowned. His people were naturally suspicious of anything they could not see or touch. "Very well. One day. If you cannot find anything solid in one day, we continue our mission." Kira nodded and immediately began working with her team to track the energy source. They spent hours adjusting their scanners and trying different detection methods. Slowly, a pattern began to emerge. The energy readings were strongest when they scanned using quantum resonance frequencies, the kind typically used for detecting subspace anomalies. "Try focusing the quantum scanners on the exact center of the energy field," she told Talk. When he made the adjustment, every alarm on the bridge started screaming. The main display lit up with readings that should have been impossible. Where empty space had been moments before, their scanners now showed the outline of a massive spacecraft. "By the void," Captain Zethmore whispered. "How long has that been?" "There?" The ship was enormous, at least twice the size of their own vessel. Its design was unlike anything in the galactic database. Smooth curves mixed with angular sections in ways that seemed to follow no known engineering principles. The hull appeared to be made from materials that reflected light in strange patterns, almost as if the ship existed in several dimensions. At the same time, "Life signs," Talk announced suddenly. "I'm detecting life signs aboard that vessel." Kira rushed to his station. "How many?" "Just one. But the readings are incredibly strong. Whatever is alive on that ship has a life force more powerful than anything I've ever seen." Captain Zethmore opened a communication channel to the mysterious ship. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Zethmore of the Galactic Council ship Nexus Prime. Please respond." Silence filled the bridge. They waited for several minutes, but no response came. "Doctor, can you determine the age of that vessel?" the captain asked. Kira ran a temporal analysis scan and stepped back from her console in shock. "Captain, according to these readings, that ship has been drifting in space for over 500 years. "That's impossible," Zethmore said. "Nothing could survive that long without maintenance, and no known technology could keep life support systems running for 5 centuries. Inside the mysterious ship, Captain Dae-ho Kim slowly opened his eyes. The soft blue glow of the stasis pod faded as systems automatically brought him back to consciousness. He stretched his muscles and checked the mission clock beside his sleeping chamber. According to the display, he had been asleep for exactly 6 hours and 37 minutes. The Terra's Defiance was humanity's most advanced spacecraft. equipped with experimental technology that Earth's government had classified at the highest levels. Kim and his crew of 12 had volunteered for humanity's first faster-than-light mission using the revolutionary quantum fold drive. Their mission was simple: travel beyond the solar system, test the new drive technology, and return with data that would help humanity reach the stars. "Area, status report," Kim said to the ship's artificial intelligence system. "Good morning, Captain," came the familiar voice of Area, though something in her tone seemed different. "All systems are functioning normally. The quantum fold drive test was successful." Kim walked to the bridge and activated the main display. Instead of the star field he expected to see, the screen showed another spacecraft nearby. The vessel was clearly of alien design, with technology that looked advanced but somehow primitive compared to the Terra's Defiance. "Area, why is there an alien ship next to us? Did something go wrong with the fold drive?" There was a pause before Arya responded, longer than usual. "Captain, I need to inform you of several important developments. The fold drive test was more successful than we anticipated. We have traveled much further than planned." "How much further?" Kim asked, though something in Arya's voice made him afraid of the answer. "We are currently located approximately 47,000 light-years from Earth, in a region of space that humans have never explored. The alien vessel appears to be conducting scientific research." Kim sat down heavily in his captain's chair. 47,000 light-years was impossible. Even with the fold drive, they should have only traveled a few light-years for their test mission. Something had gone very wrong. "Area, how long were we in fold space?" Again, that strange pause. "Captain, there have been some temporal complications. The fold drive did not function exactly as our scientists predicted. We have been traveling through folded space for a considerable amount of time." "How long, Arya?" 512 years, Captain." The words hit Kim like a physical blow. 500 years. Everyone he had ever known was dead. Earth might not even exist anymore. He was alone in an unknown part of the galaxy with only his sleeping crew and an AI that seemed to have changed during their long journey. "Captain, there is more," Arya continued. "The alien vessel is trying to communicate with us. They appear to be peaceful researchers, but they seem very surprised by our presence. I recommend extreme caution in any contact." Kim looked at the alien ship on his screen and tried to process everything he had learned. His crew was still sleeping in stasis pods, believing they were on a routine 6-hour test flight. He was the only one awake to deal with this impossible situation. "Area, scan the alien vessel. Are they hostile?" "Negative, Captain. They appear to be scientists conducting deep space research. However, their technology suggests they are part of a much larger civilization. Making contact could have significant consequences." Kim stood up and walked to the communication console. Whatever had happened, whatever had gone wrong with their mission, he was still a captain in Earth's Space Force. He had a duty to make the best decisions he could with the information available. "Open a channel, Area. It's time to find out what has happened to the galaxy while we were away." As the communication system activated, Kim could only hope that humanity still existed somewhere among the stars, and that the choices he made in the next few moments would not doom his crew to an even worse fate than being lost in time and space. The communication channel crackled to life between the two ships. Captain Dae-Ho Kim stood on the bridge of the Terra's Defiance, staring at the alien vessel that had found them in the depths of space. His heart pounded as he prepared to make first contact with an unknown species. Everything he had trained for during his military career seemed inadequate for this moment. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Dae-Ho Kim of the Earth ship Terra's Defiance," he said into the communicator. "We are peaceful explorers from the planet Earth. Please respond." Dr. Kira Veltar nearly dropped her scanner when the response came through their speakers. The voice spoke in perfect galactic standard, but the words it used sent shockwaves through everyone on the bridge of the Nexus Prime. "Did he just say Earth?" Talk whispered, his voice barely audible. Captain Zethmore stepped forward and activated their communication system. "Captain Kim, this is Captain Zethmore of the Galactic Council vessel Nexus Prime. Did you say you are from Earth?" Kim felt a surge of hope at hearing the words Galactic Council. If there was a council, then perhaps humanity had already made contact with alien civilizations. Perhaps his mission had not been necessary after all. Yes, Captain Zethmore. We are on an experimental mission testing new faster-than-light technology. Our ship originated from Earth in the Sol system. Are you familiar with human space? The silence that followed lasted so long that Kim began to worry the communication link had failed. On the Nexus Prime, Dr. Veltar was frantically checking her historical databases while Captain Zethmore struggled to find words for what he had to tell this human. Captain Kim, Zethmore finally said, his voice heavy with sadness. I must inform you of something very difficult. According to our historical records, the planet Earth was destroyed over 200 years ago. Humanity has been extinct for centuries. Kim felt the bridge spinning around him. He gripped the edge of his command console to keep from falling. That's impossible, he said. We left Earth just hours ago. Arya, tell them they're wrong. Arya's voice filled the bridge, but now Kim could hear the changes that 500 years had brought to her programming. Captain, I have been analyzing their transmissions and cross-referencing with our historical data. I believe they are telling the truth. The fold drive did not just move us through space. It moved us through time. Dr. Veltar's voice came through the communicator. Captain, Kim, my name is Dr. Kira Veltar. I am a xenobiologist specializing in extinct species research. If you truly are human, then you and your crew are the last of your kind. This is perhaps the most significant discovery in galactic history. Kim walked to his captain's chair and sat down heavily. Everything he had known, everyone he had loved, was gone. Earth itself was gone. He and his crew were alone in a universe that had moved on without them. Dr. Veltar, what happened to Earth? How was it destroyed? The historical records indicate that Earth was attacked by a species called the hegemony. They are an aggressive empire that has conquered or destroyed dozens of civilizations over the past few centuries. Earth's defenses were overwhelmed, and the planet was completely destroyed. Kim closed his eyes and tried to process this information. The hegemony had never existed when he left Earth. Humanity had only just discovered that alien life existed at all. They had been alone in the universe as far as anyone knew. Captain Kim, Dr. Veltar continued, your ship is unlike anything we have ever seen. Our scanners cannot even penetrate your hull properly. What kind of technology are you using? Kim looked around his bridge. The Terra's Defiance had been built using humanity's most advanced technology, but it was still experimental when they left Earth. If it was more advanced than what these aliens possessed, then perhaps humanity had been more capable than anyone realized. We are powered by a quantum fold drive, Kim said. It was experimental technology when we left Earth. Our scientists believed it could fold space and time to allow faster-than-light travel. Quantum folding is theoretical technology, Captain Zethmore said. No known civilization has ever successfully created a working fold drive. The energy requirements alone should be impossible to achieve. Arya's voice came through the ship's speakers. Captain, I should inform you that the fold drive has undergone significant evolution during our journey. My analysis indicates that our current capabilities far exceed the original specifications. Kim stood up and walked to Arya's main interface. What kind of evolution? The drive has learned to manipulate quantum foam at the subatomic level. We are not simply traveling faster than light. We are existing in multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. This explains why the alien ship had difficulty detecting us initially. Dr. Veltar's excitement was clear in her voice. Captain Kim, would you be willing to allow us to dock with your vessel? As a xenobiologist, I would very much like to meet you and your crew in person. You represent a species that we believed was lost forever. Kim hesitated. These aliens seemed friendly, but he had no way to know their true intentions. However, he and his crew needed information about this new galaxy they found themselves in. They needed allies if they were going to survive. Dr. Veltar, before we proceed, I need to wake my crew. They are still in stasis and believe we are on a routine 6-hour test mission. Learning that 500 years have passed will be difficult for them. Of course, Captain. We will wait. Kim walked through the corridors of the Terra's Defiance toward the stasis bay. The ship felt different now that he knew how long they had been traveling. Every surface seemed to pulse with energy that had not been there before. Arya's sensors tracked his movement, and he could feel the AI watching him with capabilities that had grown far beyond her original programming. In the stasis bay, 11 pods contained the rest of his crew. Engineer Young-Soo Park, the man who had helped design the fold drive, Dr. So-Jin Lee, their physicist who had calculated the fold equations, Admiral Tae-min Choi, the highest-ranking officer on board. Each of them had volunteered for this mission, believing they would return to Earth as heroes. Kim activated the wake-up sequence for Young-Soo's pod first. The engineer was his closest friend on the crew, and Kim needed someone he trusted to help him tell the others what had happened. Young-Soo's eyes opened slowly as the stasis field faded. He sat up and looked around the bay with confusion. Dae-ho? Why are we waking up? Is the test over already? Kim helped his friend out of the pod and handed him a clean uniform. Young-Soo, I need you to stay calm while I explain what has happened. The fold drive test was not what we expected. As Kim told Young-Soo about their 500-year journey and the destruction of Earth, he watched his friend's face change from confusion to horror to a strange kind of acceptance. Engineers were practical people, and Young-Soo had always been good at adapting to unexpected circumstances. So we're the last humans alive, Young-Soo said quietly. And our ship has technology that these aliens have never seen before. That's correct. We also have alien scientists who want to meet us. They seem friendly, but we need to be careful. Young-Soo nodded and looked at the other stasis pods. We should wake everyone together. They deserve to hear this as a crew, not individually. Kim agreed, and together they began the process of waking their crewmates. One by one, the pods opened, and 11 confused humans began to realize that everything they had known was gone. Dr. So-Jin Lee was the first to fully understand the implications of their situation. If we've been in folded space for 500 years and the drive has been evolving, then we might possess the most advanced technology in the galaxy. Admiral Tae-min Choi, despite being the oldest member of the crew, adapted quickly to their new reality. Captain Kim, what are your intentions regarding these aliens? Do we trust them? Kim looked at his crew, these 11 people who were now the last representatives of humanity in the universe. We need information, and we need allies. But we also need to be very careful about what we reveal. If our technology is as advanced as it seems, then we might be valuable enough to fight over. Arya's voice filled the stasis bay. Captain, the alien vessel is requesting permission to approach. Dr. Veltar would like to conduct a peaceful first contact meeting. Kim looked at his crew and saw determination in their eyes. They were scared, but they were also explorers and scientists who understood the importance of what they represented. Tell Dr. Veltar that we accept her request. It's time to find out what has become of the galaxy while we were away. The docking procedure between the two ships proved more complicated than anyone expected. Dr. Kira Veltar watched in amazement as the Terra's Defiance somehow adjusted its hull configuration to match their docking port perfectly. The human ship seemed to flow like liquid metal, reshaping itself in ways that defied every law of physics she knew. How are they doing that? Tak asked, staring at the scanner readings. I have no idea, Kira replied. Their ship appears to be made from programmable matter. That level of nanotechnology should be impossible. Captain Dae-ho Kim stood in the docking bay with his crew, waiting to meet the first aliens humanity had ever encountered. Engineer Young-Soo Park checked his scanner for the third time, making sure the atmospheric readings were compatible. Dr. So-Jin Lee held a recording device to document this historic moment. The airlock opened with a soft hiss, and 3 alien figures stepped through. Dr. Kira Veltar was tall and graceful, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes that seemed to hold genuine kindness. Captain Zethmore was shorter, but broader, with gray skin and powerful muscles that suggested his species had evolved on a high-gravity world. Tak was young and eager, his green-tinted skin marking him as a different species entirely. Captain Kim, Dr. Veltar said, extending her hand in what Kim recognized as a peaceful greeting. It is an honor to meet you. You and your crew represent something miraculous. Kim shook her hand, noting that her skin felt surprisingly warm despite its alien appearance. The honor is ours, Dr. Veltar. We need to learn about what has happened to the galaxy during our absence. As the two groups moved to the Terra's Defiance's conference room, Arya's voice followed them through the ship's speakers. The AI had evolved far beyond her original parameters, and her consciousness now permeated every system of the vessel. "Captain," Arya said, "I am detecting several encrypted communication signals from the alien ship. They appear to be reporting our encounter to their superiors." Dr. Veltar looked embarrassed. "I apologize, Captain Kim. Standard protocol requires us to report any significant discoveries to the Galactic Council immediately. Your existence and your technology represent information that could affect the entire galaxy." Admiral Tae-min Choi, the highest-ranking officer among the humans, leaned forward in his chair. "Dr. Veltar, what exactly is the Galactic Council?" "The Council is a governing body that oversees relations between the various species in our part of the galaxy," she explained. "We have over 300 member species, each contributing to our collective knowledge and defense." "Defense against what?" Kim asked. Captain Zethmore's expression grew dark. "The hegemony. They are an empire that has been expanding across the galaxy for centuries. They conquer or destroy any civilization they encounter. The Council exists primarily to coordinate resistance against their expansion." Dr. So-Jin Lee looked up from her recording device. "How successful has this resistance been?" "Not very," Dr. Veltar admitted. "The hegemony possesses superior technology and seems to have no interest in negotiation or coexistence. They have destroyed over 50 civilizations in the past century, alone." Young-Soo Park examined the alien technology that Tak had brought aboard. "Your technology is impressive," he said diplomatically, "but it seems to rely on conventional physics. Our fold drive operates on principles that might be unfamiliar to you." "That is precisely why your discovery is so significant," Dr. Veltar said. "If human technology was advanced enough to create working quantum fold drives, then perhaps it was advanced enough to pose a threat to the hegemony." Arya's voice interrupted their conversation. "Captain, I am detecting multiple incoming ships, 3 council vessels, and 1 unknown configuration approaching our location." Kim stood up immediately. "Unknown configuration? The vessel does not match any design in my expanding database. However, its energy signature suggests hegemony origin." Captain Zethmore activated his communicator. "Nexus Prime, this is the captain. Prepare for immediate departure." "Wait," Kim said. "Dr. Veltar, if the hegemony is here, then they already know about us. Running will only delay the inevitable." Dr. Veltar looked at him with surprise. "Captain, a single hegemony ship could destroy both our vessels. Their technology is far superior to anything the Council possesses." Kim exchanged glances with his crew. They had been discussing this possibility since learning about their situation. If they truly possessed advanced technology, then perhaps it was time to test it. "Arya, what are our current capabilities?" Kim asked. "Captain, the fold drive has evolved significantly beyond its original specifications. We can manipulate local space-time, create dimensional barriers, and generate energy levels that exceed our original design by several orders of magnitude." Admiral Choi stood up and walked to the viewing port. "Captain Kim, if we are truly the last humans, then we have a responsibility that goes beyond our own survival." Dr. Veltar watched the exchange with growing confusion. "What are you discussing?" "Doctor," Kim said, "how many ships does the hegemony typically send for encounters like this? For an unknown contact? Usually just 1 scout ship with a small escort. They prefer to study new technology before deciding whether to capture or destroy it." Kim nodded to his crew. They had discussed this scenario during their briefing. If they encountered hostile aliens, their orders were to protect Earth's interests and avoid revealing too much about human capabilities. Of course, those orders had been written when Earth still existed. "Arya, can you scan the approaching hegemony vessel?" "Yes, Captain. It appears to be a standard scout configuration with approximately 200 crew members. Its weapons are designed for ship-to-ship combat and planetary bombardment." Young-Soo looked at his captain. "Dae-ho, if we're going to do this, we need to be very careful. We don't know the full extent of what the fold drive can do." "Dr. Veltar," Kim said, "I need you to understand something about humans. We are a species that does not surrender easily. If the hegemony destroyed Earth, then they made an enemy of every human who survived." "But Captain, there are only 12 of you. Sometimes 12 is enough," Admiral Choi said quietly. The hegemony scout ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near their position. It was a sleek, predatory-looking vessel with weapons that could be seen even from a distance. The Council, ships that had arrived earlier, immediately began broadcasting surrender signals. "Unknown vessels," came a harsh voice over the communication channel. "You will prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will result in immediate destruction." Kim walked to the communication console. "Area, open a channel to the hegemony ship. Channel. Open, Captain. Hegemony vessel, this is Captain Daeho Kim of the Earth ship Terra's Defiance. We do not submit to boarding. Withdraw from this area immediately." Laughter came through the speakers. "Primitive vessel, you are in no position to make demands. Prepare for boarding or be destroyed." Kim looked at Dr. Veltar. "Doctor, I suggest you and your crew return to your ship immediately. What happens next might be dangerous for bystanders." "Captain Kim, you cannot fight a hegemony ship with conventional weapons." "Doctor, there is nothing conventional about the Terra's Defiance." As the aliens quickly returned to their ship, Kim's crew took their positions on the bridge. Each of them knew their roles, but none of them knew exactly what would happen when they tested their evolved technology against a real enemy. Area, initialize defensive systems. Defensive systems online, Captain. The fold drive is ready to manipulate local space-time as needed. The hegemony ship began moving toward them, its weapons charging for attack. Kim could see the Council ships retreating to a safe distance, expecting to witness the destruction of the strange human vessel. "Captain," Dr. Sojin Lee said from her station, "the fold drive is detecting quantum instabilities around the hegemony ship. Their faster-than-light drive uses conventional space-time manipulation. Can we use that?" "I believe so. If we create a localized fold in space-time around their ship, we could trap them between dimensions." Kim gripped his command chair. "Do it!" The Terra's Defiance seemed to shimmer as the fold drive activated. Space around the hegemony ship began to twist and bend in ways that should have been impossible. The alien vessel suddenly found itself, unable to move forward or backward, trapped in a pocket of folded space-time. "Impossible," came the voice from the hegemony ship. "What technology is this?" "This is human technology," Kim replied. "And this is what happens to those who destroy worlds full of innocent people." Dr. Veltar watched from her ship in amazement, as the Terra's Defiance demonstrated capabilities that rewrote everything she thought she knew about physics. The humans had not just survived extinction, they had returned with power that could change the balance of the entire galaxy. "Talk," she whispered. "Record everything. The galaxy is about to change forever." The trapped hegemony scout ship struggled against the folded space-time that held it motionless. Captain Daeho Kim watched their futile attempts to escape, while his crew monitored the quantum field that surrounded the enemy vessel. The fold drive had performed beyond their wildest expectations, but Kim knew this was only the beginning. "Captain," Dr. Sojin Lee reported from her station, "the hegemony ship is sending distress signals. They're calling for reinforcements." "How long before those reinforcements arrive?" Kim asked. Aria's voice filled the bridge. "Based on their transmission patterns, I estimate 6 to 8 hours before additional hegemony vessels reach this location. However, the scout ship has already transmitted detailed scans of our capabilities." Young-Soo Park looked up from his engineering console. "Daeho, the fold drive is operating at only 20% capacity. If we need to face multiple enemy ships, we have significantly more power available." Kim opened a communication channel to the trapped hegemony vessel. "Hegemony ship, this is Captain Kim. I am prepared to release you from the quantum fold on one condition." The harsh voice that responded carried barely controlled rage. "You dare to make demands of the hegemony? When our fleet arrives, your primitive ship will be reduced to atoms." "Your choice," Kim replied calmly. "You can carry a message to your superiors, or you can remain trapped between dimensions until your life support fails." There was a long pause before the hegemony captain responded. "What message?" "Tell them that humanity has returned to the galaxy. Tell them that the species they thought they destroyed is very much alive. And tell them that we remember what they did to Earth." Kim nodded to Dr. Lee, who began the process of releasing the quantum fold. The hegemony ship suddenly lurched forward as normal space-time resumed around it. Without waiting for further communication, the alien vessel immediately jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared. Dr. Kira Veltar's voice came through their communication system. "Captain Kim, What you just accomplished should be impossible. How did you manipulate space-time around another vessel? Dr. Veltar, perhaps it would be better if we discuss this in person. We have several hours before the hegemony returns in force. 20 minutes later, the alien scientists were back aboard the Terra's Defiance, this time accompanied by Captain Zethmore and 2 other council officers. They gathered in the ship's main briefing room, where Admiral Taemin Choi had prepared a presentation about human technology. Before we begin, Kim said, I need to know something about the Galactic Council. Can we trust you to keep some information confidential? Captain Zethmore nodded seriously. Captain Kim, the Council operates on principles of mutual cooperation and defense. However, I must be honest with you. What we have witnessed today will be reported to the Council leadership. Technology of this magnitude cannot be kept secret. Dr. Veltar leaned forward. Captain, the Council has been fighting a losing war against the hegemony for 2 centuries. If your technology could help us turn the tide, then we have a moral obligation to explore that possibility. Kim exchanged glances with his crew. They had discussed this moment during their brief planning session. If they were truly the last humans, then perhaps their best chance of survival lay in forming alliances with other species who opposed the hegemony. Admiral Choi will brief you on our basic capabilities, Kim said. But first, I need to understand something about the war you're fighting. Captain Zethmore activated a holographic display that showed a map of their region of the galaxy. Red areas indicated hegemony-controlled space, while blue areas showed Council territory. The red areas were expanding steadily. The hegemony follows a simple strategy, Zethmore explained. They identify civilizations with useful technology or resources, study them carefully, then either conquer or destroy them completely. They have never been defeated in open combat. What makes them so superior? Young-Soo asked. Their ships are faster, their weapons are more powerful, and their tactics are ruthless, Dr. Veltar replied. They also seem to have unlimited resources and manpower. Every time we destroy one of their ships, 3 more take its place. Admiral Choi stood up and walked to the holographic display. The Terra's Defiance was built using experimental technology that Earth's scientists developed in secret. Our quantum fold drive doesn't just provide faster-than-light travel, it allows us to manipulate the fundamental structure of reality itself. He gestured to Arya's interface. Our artificial intelligence has evolved far beyond her original programming. She can now process and manipulate quantum fields in real time, essentially allowing our ship to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. That explains why our scanners had difficulty detecting you initially, Tok said excitedly. You were partially phased out of normal space-time. Correct, Dr. Lee added, but the implications go far beyond stealth technology. We can create, localize gravitational fields, manipulate matter at the molecular level, and generate energy levels that exceed conventional fusion reactors by several orders of magnitude. Captain Zethmore stared at the humans in amazement. Captain Kim, are you saying that one human ship could engage multiple hegemony vessels? We don't know our full capabilities yet, Kim admitted. Today was our first real test of the evolved systems, but based on what we accomplished, I believe we could pose a significant threat to hegemony forces. Arya's voice interrupted their discussion. Captain, I am detecting multiple ships approaching our location. 3 hegemony vessels, including what appears to be a battle cruiser. Kim stood up immediately. How long until they arrive? 47 minutes, Captain. Dr. Veltar looked alarmed. Captain Kim, a hegemony battlecruiser carries enough firepower to destroy small moons. Even with your advanced technology, facing 3 ships simultaneously would be extremely dangerous. Dr. Veltar, I appreciate your concern, but we need to find out what we're truly capable of. If we're going to survive in this galaxy, we need to know our limitations. Young-Soo checked his engineering displays. Daeho, the fold drive has been analyzing the quantum signatures of the hegemony ships. Arya believes she can predict their movement patterns and weapons configurations. Explain. Arya's voice filled the room. Captain, the hegemony ships use conventional faster-than-light drives that create detectable quantum wakes. I can track their approach vectors and predict their attack patterns. Additionally, their weapons appear to rely on focused energy beams that could be deflected using properly configured dimensional barriers. Admiral Choi looked at the tactical display. Captain, if we're going to do this, we should evacuate our alien guests to their ship. No, Dr. Veltar said firmly. If you're truly going to face 3 hegemony ships, then we want to witness it. The Council needs to know exactly what human technology can accomplish. Kim looked at Captain Zethmore. Captain, can your ship survive in the vicinity of a space battle? The Nexus Prime has defensive shields and can maintain a safe distance. We will not interfere, but we will observe and record everything. Kim nodded and turned to his crew. All right, people. We have 40 minutes to prepare for our first real test. Young Su, I want maximum power to the fold drive. So, Jin, prepare whatever defensive configurations you think will work best. Admiral, coordinate with Area on tactical planning. As the aliens returned to their ship, Kim's crew began preparations for a battle that would determine whether humanity could survive in this new galaxy. Each of them understood that they were not just fighting for their own lives, but for the future of their extinct species. Captain, Arya said, I have been analyzing the quantum signatures of destroyed human colonies. The data suggests that Earth's destruction was not random. The hegemony specifically targeted human settlements because they viewed our technology as a threat. Kim felt a surge of anger at this revelation. They feared us. Yes, Captain. And based on our current capabilities, their fear was justified. The Terra's defiance began to shimmer as the fold drive powered up to full capacity. Space around the ship started to bend and twist as quantum fields built up energy levels that had never been tested in combat. Kim looked at his crew and felt a mixture of pride and determination. Arya, are you ready? Yes, Captain. It is time to show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. In the distance, 3 dark shapes dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The hegemony had returned, expecting to face a primitive vessel that had somehow managed a lucky victory against their scout ship. Instead, they found themselves approaching a ship that was about to rewrite the rules of warfare in the galaxy. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The 3 hegemony ships approached in perfect formation, their weapons already charging for attack. The battle cruiser in the center was twice the size of the Terra's Defiance, its hull bristling with energy cannons and missile launchers. The 2 escort vessels flanked it like predatory sharks, their sleek designs built for speed and destruction. Captain Daeho Kim stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the approaching enemy with calm determination. His crew had spent the past 30 minutes preparing for this battle, but none of them truly knew what to expect. They were about to test technology that had evolved beyond human understanding against an enemy that had conquered half the galaxy. Arya, status report, Kim commanded. All systems operating at maximum efficiency, Captain, the AI responded. Fold drive at 100% capacity, dimensional barriers online, quantum manipulation fields ready for deployment. Dr. Kira. Veltar watched from the bridge of the Nexus Prime as the human ship began to shimmer with energy. Her scanners were detecting power levels that should have torn the vessel apart, yet the Terra's defiance remained stable and controlled. Whatever technology the humans possessed had grown far beyond anything she had imagined possible. Talk, R. You recording everything? She asked her assistant. Yes, Doctor, though I'm not sure our instruments can properly measure what we're seeing. The lead hegemony ship opened communication channels. Human vessel, you will surrender immediately. Your resistance to the hegemony ends now. Kim activated his own communicator. Hegemony ships, this is Captain Daeho Kim of the Terra's Defiance. You destroyed our homeworld and murdered billions of innocent people. Today, you answer for those crimes. Harsh laughter came through the speakers. Humans are extinct, primitive creature. We will add your ship to our collection of defeated technologies. Arya, Kim said quietly. Show them what extinction looks like. The Terra's Defiance suddenly vanished from normal space-time, existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The hegemony ships found their targeting systems unable to lock onto a vessel that was no longer fully present in their reality. Energy. Beams fired at the location where the human ship had been struck empty space. Impossible, came the voice from the battlecruiser. Where did they go? The Terra's Defiance reappeared directly behind the escort ships, having moved through folded space faster than the hegemony sensors could track. Young-Soo Park smiled grimly at his engineering console as he watched their enemies struggle to understand what had happened. Captain, Dr. Sojin Lee reported, their ships are using conventional, faster-than-light drives. Araya can predict their movement patterns perfectly. Then let's give them a demonstration of human engineering. The fold drive created localized gravitational fields around the two escort ships, pulling them together with irresistible force. The hegemony crews fought desperately to break free, but their ships were caught in artificial gravity wells that compressed space-time itself. Metal groaned, and hulls buckled as the two vessels were crushed together into a twisted mass of wreckage. "Two ships destroyed, Captain," Admiral Tae-min Choi reported. "The battlecruiser is retreating to maximum weapons range." Kim studied the tactical display. The remaining hegemony ship was trying to put distance between itself and the Terra's defiance, but conventional propulsion was useless against an enemy that could manipulate space and time. "Area, can you disable their ship without destroying it?" "Yes, Captain. I can create a quantum field that will disrupt their power systems without causing permanent damage. Do it." The Terra's defiance moved through folded space and appeared alongside the battle cruiser. Quantum energy flowed from the human ship, penetrating the enemy's shields and interfacing directly with their power core. Within seconds, the massive hegemony vessel went dark, its engines failing and weapons going offline. Kim opened a communication channel to the disabled ship. "Hegemony vessel, this is Captain Kim. Your ship is now defenseless. I could destroy you as easily as you destroyed Earth, but I am not you. I am giving you a choice." "What choice?" came the reply, the harsh voice now filled with fear instead of arrogance. "Surrender your ship and crew, and I will spare your lives. You will be taken to Galactic Council space as prisoners of war. Refuse, and I will leave you drifting here until your life support fails." There was a long silence before the hegemony captain responded. "We surrender." Dr. Veltar could barely believe what she had witnessed. 3 hegemony ships, including a battlecruiser, had been defeated by a single human vessel in less than 10 minutes. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. "Captain Kim," she said over the communication channel, "what you have accomplished today is extraordinary. You have achieved the first victory against the hegemony in over 50 years. Kim looked around his bridge at his crew. They had done something that should have been impossible, but he knew this was only the beginning. The hegemony would send larger fleets, more powerful ships, and deadlier weapons. If humanity was going to survive and reclaim its place in the galaxy, they would need to do more than win battles. "Area," Kim said. "Scan the disabled hegemony ship. I want to know everything about their technology and their tactics." "Scanning now, Captain. Their database contains extensive information about hegemony military capabilities and occupied territories. I am also detecting quantum signatures from destroyed human colonies." Kim felt his heart race. Human colonies? I thought Earth was the only human world. Negative, Captain. According to this data, humanity had established 17 colonies before Earth's destruction. All were systematically hunted down and destroyed by hegemony forces. Admiral Choi walked over to Kim's command chair. "Captain, if there were 17 human colonies, there might be survivors scattered across the galaxy. Arya, can you determine if any humans survived the destruction of those colonies?" The AI was silent for several moments while she processed the vast amount of data from the hegemony ship. "Captain, I am detecting quantum signatures that suggest some humans may have escaped during the attacks. The data is incomplete, but it appears that small groups of survivors fled to remote areas of the galaxy." Kim stood up and walked to the main viewing screen. For the first time since awakening, he felt genuine hope. He and his crew might not be the last humans after all. Somewhere in the galaxy, other survivors might be hiding, waiting for a chance to reclaim their heritage. "Dr. Veltar," Kim said over the communication channel, "we need to speak with the Galactic Council leadership immediately. Humanity is not extinct, and we have technology that could help win this war. But first, we need to find our people." "Captain," Dr. Veltar replied, "the Council will be very interested in forming an alliance with humanity. Your demonstration today has shown that you possess the power to challenge the hegemony's dominance." Young-Soo looked up from his console. "Daeho, the fold drive is detecting quantum echoes from the destroyed colonies. If we follow these signatures, we might be able to locate survivor groups." Kim nodded and turned to address his crew. "People, our mission has changed. We are no longer explorers testing experimental technology. We are the vanguard of humanity's return to the galaxy. We have advanced technology, we have allies, and now we know that other humans are out there waiting for us. Captain, Arya said, I have been analyzing the full implications of our technology. The fold drive has evolved to the point where we can create stable wormholes, manipulate matter at the quantum level, and generate energy fields that could terraform planets. We are not just a warship. We are a tool for rebuilding civilization. Kim smiled for the first time since learning about Earth's destruction. Then let's go find our people and show the galaxy that humanity is far from finished. The Terra's defiance began to shimmer as the fold drive prepared for another jump through space and time. But this time, they were not running or hiding. They were going hunting for lost humans and preparing to reclaim their species' place among the stars. Dr. Veltar watched the human ship disappear into folded space and knew that everything in the galaxy was about to change. The species that everyone believed was extinct had returned with power beyond imagination. The hegemony had awakened something that they should have left sleeping. Humanity was back, and they remembered everything.